You are now tuned into Native Collect.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Legacy Blueprint podcast, powered by Native Collective. I am your host, Kayla Monique, and here on the Legacy Blueprint podcast, we talk to people who have found success, but have also built out a legacy and a blueprint for others to follow behind them. Today, we have an incredible young lady that is surely a powerhouse, baby. So listen, big things come in small packages. And we got Mo Hustle in the building today, aka She Builder.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we are going to learn so much about her and her incredible work in the community, as well as helping to build communities. So welcome,
Thank
Mo
you, thank
Hustle.
you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. You are so dynamic in so many ways. And
Aw.
I know you on a personal level, but what's so crazy is because you do so many things, I don't really know the details of what you do.
Exactly what I do, right?
No clue.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to do a deep dive
Okay.
into the business side of Mo Hustle.
Let's
And
dig.
so are you ready?
Let's dig.
All right, let's
dig.
do it. So, Native Collective is really big on our native, like where we're from and how that pours into who we are today. So, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from and how that has contributed to the Mo Hustle that we know today?
So, like you, I'm from Flint, Michigan.
Let's go, Flint.
And I think one of the things that we can definitely compliment where we're from is just a lot of the tenacity and drive that a lot of us have.
Yeah.
And just to see how successful a lot of people within our generation that I can speak from specifically, a lot of people have been successful. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. But even just growing up, playing sports, always being pushed, being an athlete, competitive, just being competitive and having that competitive nature. It never makes you complacent. It doesn't allow you to be complacent.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But also just being involved in the different things in Flint growing up as a youth. I look back at it now and, from the youth group at church, again, the different sports groups, school clubs. There was a youth leadership institute that we had in Flint. Yep. So that's something that was definitely important. Gamma Delta Xenos.
Come on, Xenos.
You know it.
Come on, Mo.
So, but we look at things now like that, and you can see how it's contributed to where you are today.
Absolutely.
And just like how that's instilled different things in you that just play a part of who you are.
Absolutely.
So it's just so many different contributing factors that have contributed to who I am as an individual. And then now being able to be an entrepreneur and be able to just take all those assets and you see them just naturally come out of you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll look back and I'm like, dang, like, Miss Giles, how she used to just put so much energy and just positivity and into us and hope, so it's just, when you get out here now, you want to do that and you want to be that example. So when you do go back home, you can let people know, you can be bigger than just where you're from.
Absolutely. And
So,
community it played a big
part
in a lot of our lives. I guess I never really looked at it like that, but we were very involved growing up because Flint is a rough city, okay? And so we kept ourselves out of trouble by being very busy.
And speaking of that, Flint gets such a negative, when people hear you're from Flint, the water crisis, or back in the day, the murder rate, things like that. But everybody that I was amongst, like my immediate circle, was positive, motivating, inspiring. And when you look at what all those people are doing now, it's a reflection of what we really did have.
Absolutely.
And it was way more positive than negative, but the positive never outshines the negative, right? So I think it's definitely a beautiful place, and I'm proud to be where I'm from.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And you can tell in your work and how much you pour back.
I still have an 810 area code. I've been in
Me
Atlanta
too.
since '04, and they tell me, Mo, you need to get a Atlanta area code. I got one because I got a second phone, but I'll never change. No.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Yes, mine's still 810. Tony say I'm childish because he's like, come on, like that definitely was your high school number, and it was.
That's
but
right.
I'm still writing it out 810. Period.
There you go.
Yes.
Instagram, Mo Hustle 810.
Yes.
Yep, that's it.
I love it.
But yeah, so all of that definitely, but all of that definitely, it plays a part into what I do and why I do what I do and how I do what I do.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about
what I do?
You do. Yes. Explain to us.
So I am a real estate entrepreneur. Okay. So I started learning about real estate investing. Okay. And literally back in 2015, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was on my way to work. And I kept hearing these commercials on the radio about learn how to flip houses using other people's money. So Than Merrill, I forgot the name of his company, but Than Merrill is big in the real estate industry. I think he's like a retired football player.
Okay.
But they had these seminars, and they go city to city, and it's just call and get your free ticket. And I'm like, oh, I don't believe it. So one morning I was just like, let me call and see if it's real. So I did, and they emailed me a ticket. So I went to the seminar. It was a 2-hour seminar. It was packed. A lot of people that are actually active in the industry were there. So It was a networking opportunity for people that are actively in the business. So when I go, it was like information overload, because when I thought of real estate, I just thought of like buying and selling houses from an agent's perspective.
Right.
I didn't know anything about the investor side. So when I'm hearing them talk about all these different streams of income, from like rental properties, which you call buy and holds, fix and flips, just becoming a landlord, multifamilies. You have one multifamily, two multifamilies, but how all of these are different opportunities to create generational wealth. I was just like, whoa. So from there, they offered a 3-day seminar. So I went to that. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it was still information overload. But I collected a lot of business cards.
Okay.
So because people that were actually doing the business were there. So I just started reaching out to people. And then one of my clients said, I have somebody that you need to meet. He hosts these real estate meetups weekly. It was every Thursday, a group called House Jerk at the time. So I went on a Thursday night, and I promise you, Kayla, it was like real estate church. Everybody, I swear, it was packed out. Yeah. It was at a hotel, like in a conference room, but it was packed out. People standing along the walls and the aisles, and like you have different people getting up and they're speaking about their successes, their experiences, and I'm just sitting there like, this is what these people do full time. Like, I go to work every day.
Yeah.
Right? So from there, I started reaching out. I said, I'm going to get to know that person. I started targeting everybody that I wanted to meet. And to this day, every person that I targeted in that room, I have relationships with.
Oh, wow.
They become mentors. They become real estate family.
Yeah.
And so from there, I became intentional. Every meeting that I went to. So I learned about wholesaling real estate. So wholesaling is when, say if you want to sell your house, right? You may be in a situation. Say if you lost your job, you're behind on your mortgage, you're about to get foreclosed on, right? You're in a situation where you might not have time to put your house on the market and go through an agent taking, offers, having inspection periods, things like that. Investors buy properties as is. It's all about the numbers working for them. Okay. So they can come and look at the property and say, you know what? It's going to need approximately $80,000 based on what I'm going to have to put into it. I can make you an offer right now for this, right? And you can say, okay, and most investors can close within 21 days. Some sooner, right? So versus going through a 30 to 40-day process of putting your house on the market and then being under contract and selling in that condition, by that time, the bank might foreclose on you and you've lost your home.
Right.
Right? So we always consider ourselves problem solvers, right? So you just have different types of scenarios to where you may be in a situation where I say, you know what? I think it's better if you do list your house, right?
Okay.
Because you might get top dollar from someone that's looking to come in and maybe just do a few little things to it if it's in good condition. But other people that are in like serious conditions or situations that need to sell, they have a high motivation. Those are the people that we typically do business with when it comes to wholesaling.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know that, and wholesalers get a bad rap, but it's not bad. But just like with anything, you have people that don't have good work ethic or practices and things like that. So, but overall, it was good. So that allowed me the opportunity to just learn the back end of the business, right? As far as like how to acquire property. So
how do you know where to find the homes? Like, do you just drive around? Is there a website for them?
It's a lot of different ways.
Okay.
And that's the thing. You have, I personally, I prefer to drive around, but I want to back up real quick. So HGTV, my mom and I, we would watch it religiously, right? So, but I never understood, like, they break down the numbers, but they don't tell you where these properties come from.
Right.
So I'm like, are they, like you said, how do you find them?
Yeah.
So that's when I learned about wholesaling. And I'm like, oh, okay, now it's starting to make sense. So when they tell you, like, we bought this property for this amount, say $45,000, you're not going to look online. And when you see a $45,000 house, it's going to be that type of distressed property.
Yeah.
So you do see some online. But for the most part, I like to drive around. So we call it driving for dollars.
Okay.
So we're driving for the money.
Okay.
So you drive neighborhoods and you look for properties where the grass may be overgrown. Boarded up. You can just tell that it's vacant and distressed. You do have websites, so some people do have different websites where you can go. And if they have properties under contract, they have them listed on there. Different groups, like the House Jerk group that I was a part of at the time and others. They have, if you join and become a member, you have access to off-market deals as well. So, and investors are really interested in off-market deals. So a lot of times they want to find something off-market. So that's pretty much, how I started to learn about just how to find properties. And then from there, learning how to negotiate, learning what to look for and things like that. But what I did, every day that I was off, I was calling all these people that I met. Like, hey, where are you? So on my off days, I was a sponge.
Okay.
I was in the field, and I'm learning as much as I can learn from each one of these individuals that I came across.
Got you. So networking was a
big
part.
The biggest part.
Okay, so let me just back up a little bit before we deep dive into what you do on a day-to-day basis. What were you doing in 2015 when you heard the commercial? What was your current job?
I was in
at
banking.
That time?
Yeah.
Is that what you went to school for? Because I know you graduated from Michigan
No, ma'am.
State.
I went to.
What's your degree in?
Something that I just got a degree in, merchandising management.
Really?
Yes.
Did you ever work in it at all?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
No, that's a common story, though. Like, I definitely don't do what I went to school for originally.
What'd you go to school for?
Well, I guess kind of now I do a little bit. But I went to school for communication technology, right?
Okay.
And I had, like, a minor in TV and film. So that's what you see me doing today. So I did circle back around.
Exactly.
But I definitely was an educator for 14 years in special education at that. And I had never thought I would be working in education at all. So that's just a common story that I hear a lot of times. So, okay, you did that.
Let's go back to college. So, another thing, in college, I started out as an accounting major.
Okay.
Hated it.
Okay.
Right?
What made you go into it?
My dad was a finance.
That part?
Yeah, my dad was in finance. So, and because I took accounting classes in high school, I felt that it was important to understand, like, debits and credits, assets and liabilities, those things. But the classes were boring. I didn't enjoy economics. I didn't like the classes, right?
Okay.
So I'm not going to say that I hated it. I was bored. I wasn't engaged. But I go to my counselor, and I wanted to change my major, and I wanted to go into communications and broadcasting.
Okay.
And she said, no, you don't want to do that. You want to stay in the business field because, you can always use business in anything that you do, blah, 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 blah. And I say this to say anybody that's watching this and you're considering what you want to do, follow your first mind and don't let anybody steer you wrong.
Listen, I second that.
Yeah.
I second that because that happened to me too. Like, I ended up going into communication technology, but originally my dad wanted me to focus on computers, and it's like, I'm bored. I'm in here with nails on trying to pick up resistors. Like, what you talking about, and all the people were like introverted, even when I think of accounting, I'm like, most people that like really thrive in that field are very much introverted, and you are totally the opposite of that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, the class was not where I wanted to be.
Right. Right.
classroom.
Right, that part. So 2015, you were in banking, and were you making a good living at banking?
So I'm gonna tell you about just corporate period.
Okay.
So when I got out of college and I moved here, I moved to Atlanta 2 weeks after I graduated from Michigan State.
Okay.
Go green, go white. But when I came here, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I was in a management trainee program. Got promoted within 9 months to assistant manager, and then after that, I got my first branch. Was with them for almost like 5 years. From there, I went into another management position. I was operations manager for Burlington Coat Factory.
Okay.
And then I went into banking, and I was a branch manager. So for me, it's the ceiling. With every job, it's the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I don't like when you get to a certain point and it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel or the opportunities aren't as great.
Yeah.
Because you have one position that now people on a regional level and maybe even beyond regional may be applying for. So it was just, and then you're limited, right? You're giving them 55 hours a week and your pay is still going to be the same. And I'm in service generated industries, right? So I'm dealing with people. And when people come in and say, well, why don't you guys do this? Why don't you do that? I literally just work here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's only so much that I can really control as far as the change.
Right.
And now being able to control my change.
Yeah.
You can't hire me.
Yeah.
You know?
I
so
love it.
But it's, you have to put yourself in it to understand it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So,
and I see a common thread of management in everything that you did, and you excelled quickly. So it was like it was already innate in you to be the manager, the boss, the one that was over it, you know? And so I love that now you're in something where you can have your hands in several different things.
And I even took a year off of work in 2011. I went back to school and got my master's.
Oh, wow.
So
Where'd you get your master's in?
I have an MBA. Now, I don't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
But I have an MBA in entertainment management.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, that was something that I wanted to really focus on at the time because, you know, I was managing independent artists and, you know, trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And, you know, after you just go through it, it's like, okay, let me go back to school because you think school gives you the foundation.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, okay, let me just go back to school and get this MBA and with a focus in entertainment management and then be able to come back and come in the entertainment world and kill it. Yeah. And wasn't the case, you know, it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So, you
so
know.
what's the misconception about going back to school, in your experience, with going back to school versus just doing a deep dive into the career? What's the misconception that you think people
That's
have?
just what I think it's more so we're trained
Yep.
to think that in order to excel in this, you have to go get that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Go get another piece of paper. Now, don't get me wrong. I have some friends that, you know, they go back and they get those additional degrees but they're in the industry, they're already in the field to where when they get that degree, like if you're in the military and you get that degree or that PhD, whatever, now you're in a different category.
Right.
Right. So you're
It elevates them.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, you know, I think as long as you have a strategy and you know that when I do this, this is the possibility or the result, I was hoping.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because you're trained to think.
Yeah.
We go to high school and then we go to college.
Yeah.
And then after college, you know, you get a master's. And I didn't want to go get a master's, right? But then I was just like, well, maybe I should go get a master's. That'll help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was still finding I still didn't find my path at the time.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, like narrowing down what it is that you want to do and knowing how that can benefit you.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've talked about a lot of different things. So you have a vast skill set. Okay. We went from merchandising to now we're banking and then we're managing different things. Now you move into the construction space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you started with wholesale real estate.
Wholesaling real estate.
Okay. And then it has evolved into what? Are you still doing wholesale real estate or what are you doing more of now?
I'm not actively wholesaling as far as being out finding off-market deals and wholesaling those deals. If a deal comes my way, I can wholesale it.
Okay.
But that's not what I'm actively seeking. So when I started wholesaling, I was automatically interested in the building process.
Okay.
So one of my mentors, shout out to Patrick Henderson, here in Atlanta, He's one of the people that I would call on my off days, and he was an active developer.
Okay.
Right? So he's building, and he had bought a house. It was a 10-bedroom boarding house at the time over in Kirkwood in Atlanta. And he took and made that a single-family home. So on my off days, I'm pulling up to where he is, and I'm seeing the renovation process.
Yeah.
And that just intrigued me. And then now it's like what you see on TV is starting to make sense. Okay. And because these episodes on TV are only 30 minutes, we're really not getting a lot. So all of the edits and the cutouts, I'm seeing in real life. Yeah. So I'm like, dang, like this is exciting. Yeah. So I was always passionate about, like, I know this is what I want to do. So fast forward 2017, February, to be exact. John introduced me to, he was like, you know what? I know this is what you want to do, Mo. I know a builder that's great. He's an investor as well, but he pays attention to detail and quality, right? So we pulled up on one of his projects, and that's Torrey, Westside Community Builders here in Atlanta, and pulled up on Torrey, and from there, I started shadowing him. And at that point, my focus went away from wholesaling to learning this process. Yeah. And I told him, because I'm seeing his phone ringing all the time, and people are asking him, like, I just got burnt by this contractor, or they went missing. Like, I need your help. I need your help. So he's got his own projects going on, but then he's bailing people out of their projects. And I'm like, you ever thought about project managing? He's like, nah, I don't have the time, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, you got me. Like, I can be your assistant. Like, I'll go to Home Depot. You just tell me, I'll go. Like, I'll do it. Yeah. So that's how I got my feet wet. So he would delegate different things to me. And then,
like, what are some of the things he would delegate for you to do in that process?
So say, for instance, if he had his own project going on and then helping somebody else out with another project, you can only be in one place at one time if you're by yourself. So he may send me over there. Okay. And just call me when you get there, right? Okay. So now I'm being put in position to actually learn on the spot. Got it. Right? And that's how I learn. Right? Me too. So it's like, once I do it, it's just like, okay, and then even going to Home Depot to pick up different materials. So when I get to Home Depot, I'm like, where is this at? Right. I'm like, how do you even know? Yeah. So I'm in there like, hey, can you help me? Yeah. So that's how I started getting affiliated, or that's how I became to establish relationships with a lot of the associates within Home Depot. So then I started meeting people in the pro department. So Home Depot, Lowe's, you have like a contractors area. Okay. Right. So they call that the pro area. Right. So now I'm in the mix of the contractors, right? Yeah. The contractor world. Yeah. So again, it goes back to networking.
I was just about to say, that's where I see a common thread of networking and maximizing relationships.
Absolutely. And another thing that I was doing before COVID in Atlanta, we had a real estate meetup that you could go to Monday through Saturday. Multiple on some days. So you could leave one and go to another one. Okay. So again, networking. Yeah. And position. Yeah. Positioning yourself to be in the right rooms with the right people, and then inserting yourself and making your presence known.
Yeah. So this is good. So, okay. So most of it started with networking and meeting people, and then just shadowing. And then I see you, through your shadowing, you found the niche and like the area that intrigues you. Okay. So now you are a petite, like, you're sitting down, they don't know, but you're like a smooth, 5 foot Mo. I'm sorry.
5'3" 3/4.
She is all of 5'1".
Give me all of
it. It's okay that she's trying to
tell
you.
No, I'm 5'3" 3/4, Kayla.
Okay.
Flat-footed. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. No heels. Give me some inches.
No, you're just like this. You're this little petite, like, female with this huge personality. But in the construction realm, when I think of people in construction, I think of like tough and like
burly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're the complete opposite of that. And so in that space, have you felt any ways that has like worked against you, or has it actually benefited you in any ways?
No. And to be honest,
does it even come into play?
No. So even going back to like when I was probably from the time that I started going outside to play, it was always like in my neighborhood. Like, my brother, 6 years older than me. Okay. All the kids in the neighborhood were boys. They were, and they played basketball and things like that. I had some neighbors that were girls, but it was like literally the two sisters and me. We were the only girls. And then later, some other girls moved into the neighborhood, but we were always forced to like be amongst the guys.
Okay.
And, so that's how playing basketball and just, just the competitive nature.
Yeah.
Like that's how that surfaced. So it goes back to always kind of being comfortable in that setting.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I did definitely realize, and it still happens to this day, I can be on site and somebody will pull up and they'll say, "Oh, where's the contractor?" Right?
Yeah.
And then even after you say, "Oh, me," they still like doubt, they second guess it. But it's just it's funny to me. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't take it like in a negative way.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel bad.
Yeah.
But they definitely come looking for a man.
Yeah. And do you okay, so I know for me, like when I was teaching and I worked in special education, I wasn't in the classroom. Like I found myself like in a lot of litigious meetings or with like the heads of the department, right? And I always was Kayla. So I would still come in fly, let's be clear. And then I would still have my big hair, all the things. And I would come in and have so much knowledge. And I love like the expression on their face when it's like this young black girl is coming in here and we can't mess with her because like she knows what she's talking about.
Yep.
When you're in those situations, like honestly, like on the inside,
now
how does it make you feel, that person that come in like, I'm looking for the contractor and you the one?
Oh, I let it be known. No, I let it be known. I
Yeah.
have to let them know, like, oh no, it's me. And then sometimes I'll let them like go ahead and just look over and walk past.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really just looked over me like that?
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm a woman? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then once they start engaging with me, it's just like, dang. And then
Yeah.
oh, I apologize or,
Yeah.
whatever. But nah, you definitely, I have to let it be known.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, though, it's so many of women out here, so many of us, black women, in this industry.
Really?
And we're cute, we're professional.
Yes.
And we know our stuff.
See, and we always assume it's the real estate agent. Like we see us in that way, but we never realize that we are behind the scenes.
Hold on. Kayla, the house I'm building right now.
Yeah.
The couple lives across the street. We met them from the start, right? I pulled up this past Saturday. I'm almost 50%, right, on this house.
Yeah.
They are out there all the time. They know this is my project, right?
Wow.
It was a couple that pulled up, and when I pulled up after they were there, they were like, "Oh, the guy across the street said you're the agent." I said, "No, he knows good and damn well I ain't no dang on agent." Yeah.
Wow.
He knows I'm not the agent.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things too where people just naturally, that's just how they associate women in the industry.
Absolutely.
So, but no, you let it be known.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this too. I think we women, especially when you hold your ground and you stand your ground,
That's right.
the respect is different.
Absolutely.
I call my guys for things for my personal home. They won't charge me. They'll come take care of me, whatever you need. And even if I just need a favor at a project.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I got you. They may charge somebody else. And the men, they go at it. Like that male ego, you see them battling each other and, oh, no, I'm not paying you for this or, I'm not, and they go back and forth. Like, but with women, we just have that. We have that. Like, so if you don't have a woman on your team, go get you one.
Listen, bottom line.
I don't care what you in. Go get you a woman on your team.
Listen, that's what we're trying to say. That's the bottom line at the end of the day. And we're going to just take one moment to just take a break for Native Collective ads. And we'll be right back on the Legacy Blueprint podcast.
Hey, I'm Wynn Sardin, and I'm excited to be a part of Native Collective Digital Membership Waitlist, where I'm tapping into a range of resources and connecting with professionals. This platform is proven beneficial in helping me stay organized and maintain a proactive approach as I continue to make a leading impact in the community. The diverse tools and support provided by Native Collective has enhanced my efforts and effectiveness, so make sure you check them out.
Hey there, it's your girl E. If you're anything like me, you're probably tired of searching for one place that truly identifies the cultural diversity in the melting pot that is Los Angeles. Well, I've got some really good news for you. I'd like to introduce you to Native Collective, the hottest, most exclusive private membership club that's about to change the game.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy AP here, man, Alex Porter. And singer, songwriter, actor, model, you name it. God bless me to do it. So, and in the midst of using my gifts, I am now collabing with and partnering up with Native. That is right. I just signed up for Native's digital membership waiting list. And what Native is, or what they do, is they put you around others that is like-minded in your industry or in your lane. So other singers, other actors, other directors, other whatever it is that you do, Native can deliver, man. So I just signed up and got on their waiting list, man. This drop is about to be phenomenal. I'm telling you, big things is happening in 2024. Native is the place to be. You need to get there ASAP. Go visit native.com, and I promise you, Native is the place to be. Come connect with AP, and we'll see you at the end of 2023. All right, let's get it, man. Big things happening. Once again, native.com. Go sign up now. Get on the waiting list. And look, see, I just left SoFi Stadium because I just came from a celebrity basketball game playing right now, because that's what Native do. They put you around the people that is like-minded in your industry and what you do. So I don't brag or push things that I'm not a part of. So go sign up now. Get it cracking. Let's make it happen. All right, let's get it. Go Native.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Shamley. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I just signed up for Native's collective digital membership waitlist. I am a real estate agent and entrepreneur, and I'm going to use Native's resources to meet other like-minded professionals, clients, and investors. It's something I'm truly excited about, because not only is Ashley a friend of mine, but someone I respect heavily in her field. And if she tells me that I need to meet someone, whether it's in person, via Zoom, or talk to them, I can trust that it's not only worth my time, but it'll be a mutually beneficial relationship. So I encourage anyone who's thinking about it to also do the same.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Legacy Blueprint Podcast, powered by Native Collective. We are back with our girl, Mo Hustle, and we are learning all things construction, real estate, development, wholesale buying, just all facets. So if this is something that you're interested in getting in, or you're already in it, this is the place to be. So be sure to subscribe right now so that you don't miss any more from the Legacy Blueprint Podcast. All right, Mo, you ready to get back into it?
Let's keep digging.
All right. So when we left off, we talked about you being a project manager. Mm-hmm. And so from there, you've evolved into a developer. So can you kind of take us through that journey?
Mm-hmm. So 2017 to 2019 was when I was an assistant project manager. And it was actually just, and this is how God works, right?
Yeah.
So 2019, I had a property that I was wholesaling. It was a lot. And my buyer ended up backing out of the deal because when it was time to close, there were a lot of liens on the property. Mm-hmm. And they exceeded the amount of the actual contracted purchase price of the lot. Okay. And she didn't want to deal with it. So the owner was just like, you know what? Like, I really, really need to, like, sell this. Like, how can you help me? Like, he was begging, because the liens, like, everything just kept adding up. He was behind on taxes, liens, penalties just keep accruing. So I said, let me try to help you. I had no idea how I was going to help him. Mm-hmm. So ended up having a phone call with a childhood friend that I hadn't talked to in years, and it was real random, right? And so it's just like a catch-up call. We haven't talked to each other in 17 years. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And known each other since we were 3.
Uh-huh.
Right? So we just talking. It's like, well, what are you doing now? I'm like, I'm real estate investing, wholesaling, project management, blah, 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 blah. He's like, get out of here. We've got a real estate firm here where I live, and we've been in business for 2 years now. So fast forward, why aren't you doing your own project? Like, you're doing all this, why aren't you doing your own projects?
Yeah. And
I'm like, well, that's next, Yeah. I'm trying to figure that out. I have to prepare myself, get the funding in place. I got to figure it out. I don't know, you know? So he was like, I tell you what, you find a good deal, talk to my partner, we're going to partner with you on a deal. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And I didn't even know how to really respond.
Yeah.
And after the call, I was like, I got this deal. Like, I have a deal.
Yeah.
I got a good deal. But I got to figure out how to work out these liens.
Uh-huh.
So I made a phone call to one of our attorneys, Pavio Dorch, Black-owned a lawyer, female, like
Yeah.
30 some years old, right here in Atlanta, called her, and she's like, all right, Mo, let's figure this out. It's going to be tough, but it can be done. So it was like $160,000 in judgments that was outstanding from the previous owner.
Oh, wow.
Right? And what happened, they deeded the property over to this gentleman. And what happens when you do like what's called a quick claim deed, you can go literally to like Staples, and it's a form that you fill out. You take it down to your courthouse. They file it at the time for $12, and boom, now you have a deed in your name if somebody signed it over to you. It's a notarized document and everything. But what happens when you don't do this with an attorney?
Yeah.
You don't know the legalities
Okay.
of the verbiage that need to be in these documents.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a situation where I don't know if he was taken advantage of or not, but he's in a situation now where he can't sell the property, and this lady is MIA. So the attorney was able to take him through this process, and it took some months.
Yeah.
It took some months. But I just extended the contract with him and told him as soon as we get this rectified, we would close on the property.
Mm-hmm.
So I presented it to my partners now.
Yeah.
And
After you took care of all of the other like deeds and the
well,
legalities.
at the start, like
at the very
once
start.
I knew that this was something that could be fixed, I told him, I was like, I do have this deal, but this is the situation.
Right.
So they're like, all right, but that's how it came about. So that was 2019. Built my first new construction from the ground up. And I was always interested in new construction versus renovations, because when I was project managing, every renovation that we did an addition. So the majority of the time we were almost duplicating the size of the original house.
Okay.
And I'm learning that from the new part on is breezy. The old part is a headache, because once you start busting down demoing those walls, and you get surprised after surprise, you're like, oh, and then you got to tell your client, we just ran into an additional $10,000 in the client. $10,000. Well, how didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Shit, walls were up. We didn't know, So it's just like, those are things that when it comes to renovating properties, you got to be prepared for more than what you expect.
Absolutely.
You have to.
I see that on the show.
Just like a man. No, I'm just playing.
Look, right. And look, that's a different
conversation.
Okay, but I'm just saying. All right, there are some similarities. However,
but
wow.
Yeah, so that was where it started. And from there, like I was on site, and because I had been doing what I was doing for the time that I was doing it for, and just being on the scene, and knowing people, I've been blessed with the best mentors, the best support group. Like I've not been taken advantage of in this industry. Nobody screwed me over. Like,
that's
people
amazing.
I can pick up the phone now and call, hey, this is my situation, and they'll tell me do XYZ. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people can't do that. They're gonna get charged, or I can coach you, or different things like that. So I thank God for just the support group that I've been blessed with. And that's another thing, that's confirmation. And this might be another podcast.
I was
too.
gonna say that.
No. It's confirmation that you're walking, and that's how you know, like, now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Before, all these things aren't working out, and I'm trying to figure it out. But now, and it's like you're at a peace. Like, even me just saying this, like what's going through my body right now.
Yeah.
It's like a calm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I love it.
Yeah. And you can hear it all throughout your story. Just the
I love
constant alignment and how it led you to this. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you also took heed. So you had a part in that too. Like, you were obedient to what you were hearing.
Absolutely.
It was like, oh, from the very moment you heard the commercial, you like, well, let me just see. And then that opened one door. Then you got there. It opened another door. And it's just been a constant of that.
And let me talk to the people right now, because what a lot of people aren't willing to do is sacrifice.
That's
I sacrificed
good. Talk about it.
I sacrificed a lot. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to sit down. I had to be still. And I had to be a student, and I had to learn.
Yeah.
And I just had to absorb and understand the direction that I'm supposed to be taking.
Yeah.
Understanding the people that are around me, why they're around me. Just like taking all this in, because we get blessed with opportunities, but it's up to us to take advantage of those opportunities. We have to realize an opportunity when it presents itself.
Yeah.
There's so many talented people that fall by the wayside and don't reach their max potential.
Yeah.
Because of all these other external factors.
Right?
But it's
so
really
good.
but it's a lot of internal factors too.
Yeah.
Because when you know what you know, being uncomfortable is hard to do.
Yeah.
And embracing that comfort, that discomfort, and getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's like, I love being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, and that's something in itself. I mean, because the fact that in everything that you did in corporate, you reached the ceiling and you felt like this isn't enough for me. I need something more. Embracing uncomfortability is such a hard thing for so many people. Do you think that's just something that's innate in you? Have you always been that way? Because you talked about being competitive and being in sports and things that challenge you.
I think so, because even being short, like when I ran track, and track was my sport. I was a long jumper too, and people looked at me like I was too short to jump long distances.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good. I was decent. I placed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So and I did. Like, so it's just one of those things where when people tell you what you can't do or look at you because you say, here I am, this 5'3 3/4" young lady. And, but I'm able to, like, I even just being able to prove to people, like, I can touch the bottom of the net of a basketball hoop. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's just, those things have never, like, deterred me or made me feel like I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just to prove that I can.
Now, I have a question because that is something that comes very natural to you. For the person that is listening right now that is interested in what you do, they have a passion for it, but they may not be as ambitious as you. What advice would you give them in the pursuit of doing something?
Everybody has to do what works for them, right? Because you may consider yourself not as ambitious, right? But you may be ambitious in other ways.
Okay.
So for me, like, I'm not a desk person. I'm not an office person. I love being out in the field. I have to sit at my computer and log my transactions when I come home and, do the administrative work because I have to keep my business in order.
Yeah.
But I don't love, like, what my best friend does. She loves that stuff. And I don't.
Yeah.
Right? So somebody might look at her and say, because, you're not in the field, you're not as ambitious, right? But when you're sitting at that computer and you're organized and you can make those calls and doing, like, that's a different type of ambition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to find your niche.
Got it.
And I tell people all the time, too, if you don't want to do this full time, take advantage of the time that you have off to do it part time. So even if doing one flip per year makes you feel good, in addition to what you do full time, that's all that it's about. You have to meet your needs, right? Whatever satisfies you, what satisfies me is not made to satisfy you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, especially because it's different aspects of it. Just like you said, like maybe the clerical work and doing the administrative portion is something that drives you and stuff. So it's so many different areas of this lane. Like when it comes to real estate as a whole, there are so many different facets of it.
I'm going to tell you, my dog has slowed me down. I got a dog, y'all. I got a dog, and so now I'll be like, I got to go home because I got to feed the dog. So it's like now I have more structure kind of to what I do. But before I had a dog, my niece will come in town. She'll tell you, we would leave at like 10 in the morning, 9, maybe even earlier. Yeah. And she'd be like, Auntie, when are we going back to the house? Like, I would be out until probably 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to this project, this job site because I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun to me.
Yeah.
So even like on a Saturday, Sunday, if I need to be at a job site, even if it's just really briefly, I'll go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you enjoy it. Yeah. Now, at a time like this in our economy, the interest rates are skyrocketing. First, is this even a good time to build, buy, renovate, flip, do any of those type of things?
You ride through the city, you see cranes, right?
Yeah.
You see development, you see construction, like you see it happening. So one of the most important things that I learned, and when I went to that 2-day seminar, one thing that they said was they always stayed ahead of what everyone else was doing. So what everybody else is doing right now, they already knew what was about to come.
Okay.
So you're preparing for what's about to come. So, for instance, knowing that interest rates are high, we have what's called like recession-proof neighborhoods, right? So you have a clientele where, well, let me say this for one. People are always going to need somewhere to live.
Right.
Right? So just like babies are going to be born, people are going to die. People are going to graduate school. People are going to get married. People are going to get divorced. There's always going to be a need to have a place to stay.
Yeah.
So for one thing I can say, diversify your portfolio.
Okay.
Right?
How should we do that?
So and when I say diversify your portfolio, find different ways to have multiple streams of income.
Got it.
It doesn't even have to be within real estate, but just diversify your portfolio, period, right? Because if you do, it's a risk, right? Everything that we do in this industry, it is a risk. So if you build a house and it doesn't sell as fast as you hope, you need something else still going on to pay your bills.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be one-dimensional.
Okay.
In a time like this, people that have rental portfolios, because the interest rates are so high, people may say, you know what, I'm going to continue to rent for maybe the next 5 years, right? So now if I own rental properties and they're in good condition and they're nice, good areas around good schools, things like that, you have to position yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So now guess what? There's a demand for what you have, right? So now you have residual income. So that's one of the goals that I have, is to create a rental portfolio in addition to building. But even when it comes to building, neighborhoods, schools, you have affluent areas too. So interest rates typically are going to be more important to people that are buying at the median class level. Okay. So when you have people that are saying that are buying the $1 million houses on up, they don't care about interest rates. So if I'm looking for $1 million house, if it's 1 million or 1.1 million at the end of the day, it's about me finding what I want.
Gotcha.
Right? So even just kind of being strategic as far as where you're building as a builder, and that's where I'm at now. Okay, I don't want to buy land just anywhere to build, because I do know some houses are sitting on the market longer because people are waiting for interest rates to go down. But you still have people that, I just met a couple, they moved here from New York.
Yeah, they already used to spending.
And they say, you know what? They said, we would never have this in New York.
Yeah.
They didn't even see the property. They literally looked online, made an offer. They bought the house and moved to Atlanta.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So I just heard this story this past Saturday. So when you have conversations with people, that's how you know, because they're like, we have a house, a yard, a dishwasher, things like that. So it's just like, and then with Atlanta still being compared to, say like a New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, major metropolitan cities, cost of living is still affordable, but it is getting more expensive here. But if you're coming from LA,
right,
what you get here compared to,
Listen, I sure do. I came here, and like, to people that live here, they're like, wow, like you paid that much. And I'm like, girl, like I was paying that in LA for like 1,400 square feet. Like now I'm sitting on 3,600. What we doing?
With
you
the
know
yard,
what I'm saying? Like I don't have a problem.
Yes.
Don't have a problem. Yeah.
So, so it's just, being mindful of those things. And if you focus on, and that's the thing, don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a negative. Cut it out. Cut it out.
So, okay. So I have a question, because the way that your story kind of aligned, like this was what was destined for you. So you walked into situations where when you found the investors, it was somebody that you had already knew, and you just kind of got into that. For someone that may not know, where do I find these investors? Like, where are they?
So I'll tell you this. They could be right next to you. People are scared to have conversations around money.
Talk about it.
I would have never
Talk
had the conversation if it didn't present itself to me.
Yeah.
I would have never presented that to anybody.
Wow.
Now I'll be out there like, yo, you got $50,000? All right. I mean, what they gonna say, yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? And they be like, no, I ain't got 50, but I got 30. All right, what you want to do? And literally, and that's me just being me. But then we go to the bank.
Yeah. Straight
like,
up.
No lie. Like, I did it just like that one time. And it was just like, oh, okay. But that's how I learned, like, it's so many people that are ready to invest and willing and already investing. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. So it's just, having conversations with people, opening up, and then at the same time too, just exploring financing options.
Yeah.
Right. You have hard money lenders that lend specifically for real estate projects.
Okay.
You're not going to go to a bank and get a conventional loan to flip a house.
Okay.
Right. So doing your research and just educating yourself on the different options. So know all your options. That's definitely a tip.
Okay.
And then once you know what those options are, find out what their criteria is. So what do you need to qualify? Right.
Okay.
And then once you know those things, then now, you know what? I'm either in position or it's going to take me 6 months or a year to get in position. Now go out and start vetting contractors. Do your research. Ask for websites. Of course, social media is a go-to. Ask for references.
Yes, that's huge.
Yep.
Somebody that's already worked with them.
Ask for references.
Yeah.
So now, because that's one of the things I've seen, and it's sad. Like, so many people have they've been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I gave this contractor $25,000, and then when you go and look and you don't even see $5,000. Like, you see demo. Yeah. And it's just like, where'd the money go? Yeah. And they're gone. They're not answering their calls anymore. And I hate to see that. So, it's just one of those things where you really have to vet and prepare yourself. Like, don't get excited and just jump in. That's really the main thing. But you got to put yourself in position to be amongst the people that are doing it.
Absolutely.
And just learn.
Absolutely.
Get a mentor. Definitely get a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah, I constantly hear that like throughout it, because it gives you an opportunity to see things up close and personal without you being the one in the fire, not quite yet,
right.
Yep. And so with you and knowing you, and even throughout your entire interview, you've name dropped so many people. Like, you are always looking out for the people. No,
that's another conversation, Kayla.
No, it is. That's you to your core. But you're like, listen, if I'm in this situation and you reach back and pull me up, like, I got you.
Reach back,
like,
pull forward.
every step of the way, you're constantly like talking about all the people that reached out to you. And that's something that I've noticed about you throughout this conversation, but I know that to be true. Why do you, because now you are a mentor to a lot of people. And so why is mentorship so important to you, and why is pouring into your community so important?
It goes back to childhood. When you had people that poured into you, it's always been important to pour it back into others. Yeah. So just the whole reach back, pull forward, because people reached back and they pulled us forward. When we were youth in Flint, all our parents had to do was take us. It was available. We just had to go. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it was just always important. And even now, it's just like, why I do what I do is to be able to give back. Right. And, just to inspire and motivate people. When I meet people and they say, I follow you on social media and I've never met you in my life, and they say, like, you motivate me as a woman. And it's, majority women that I get that from. That's, even if it was only one person that ever told me that, like, that's confirmation that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah,
for sure. You really are.
Yeah. I can't explain it, Kayla. I mean, just the same reason why you do what you do. Yeah. Right? You're out here touching and speaking to all these people, but that's what you've been placed here to do. Absolutely. So it's just, but we realize it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, once you realize it and you take it seriously, that's something, we can't fumble that. Yeah. We can't fumble that play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 101%. And I know you to always be positive, and have a positive perspective regarding even challenges. But throughout this journey, I'm sure you have had challenges.
I've cried.
So
I've cursed.
Can you tell us about a situation where it didn't necessarily go the way you planned, and maybe it turned into a lesson?
I'm going to tell you.
But tell us.
I got a good one. Yeah. I had when I was wholesaling, I had 4 deals under contract. I was so excited. 4 deals. And we always say, like, you don't count the eggs until they hatch, right? So until it's closed and they say the wire's on the way at the closing table, that's when you get excited. But I'm like, okay, I got 4 deals. I'm about to close. Like, this is about to be like my biggest month ever. Yeah. 1 fell through. I'm like, all right, it's okay. I got 3 other ones. I'm good if at least just 2 of them close. Yeah. Another one fell through. I was like, okay, I'm starting to get nervous now. Yeah. These other 2. The other one fell through. 0 out of the 4
No.
I did not close not one of those deals. I cried. I sat in my living room. I cried. I'm not going to lie. I was on the phone for like 45 minutes. I was talking to my partner, John. I was like, John, I'm about to go get a job.
I was about to say, did you want to give up?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to have to get a job. Like, what am I supposed to do? Because, I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, he was like, okay, Mo, like, get it out, cry, whatever. You're not about to go get a job. You done? I was like, yeah. Okay. He was like, go back out there and go find another deal. Yeah. And guess what? I went and found another deal and it closed.
Wow.
Right? And it took like probably 2 weeks for it to close. So it's just one of those things where you got to stay the course.
Yes.
But have your moments.
Yes.
Have your moments.
Yes.
You got to let it out because they're going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to happen. And I knew I wasn't going to get a job. Yeah. I had one job interview since 2015. And I think it was in 2015. And in the midst of the interview, I was like, I'm not even going to waste your time. So I said, I'm not the one you want. This ain't what you want because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I'm definitely not doing that.
Yes.
So thank you for your time. I started taking that suit jacket off. I'm like, man, I'm not wearing these no more.
Yeah. No, seriously. Listen, but you know what's so beautiful about that? And I've learned this just through time and experience in life. When you are in something that you're supposed to be in, there's always a moment where you're tested. Mm-hmm. And it seems like when it gets the hardest, that actually is when the breakthrough is on the other side. But it's will you make it to the breakthrough on the other side? Because that's why is there anybody that has gained any level of success in anything has a story about something that tried to break them in the pursuit of what was calling their name.
When I listen to Steve Harvey's story, right?
Oh my goodness.
And that what he talks about just having that bucket of chicken and being in New York, right?
Yeah.
And not like you don't know what you're gonna do. You're in a totally different city and state.
Yeah.
Right? And you're down to that. And then guess what? Just because you still just stuck to it, the opportunity presented itself.
Yep.
So it's just when you think about every great, like you said, they have moments to where and like, I ain't even gonna lie, y'all, I hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I was like at the lowest that I've ever been in life.
Yep.
And, and I had to make some calls that I didn't want to make and be like, hey, can you help me out for 2 weeks or this and that, but I had to humble myself.
Yeah.
Because before I was always a humble person. But I never knew, I didn't go without.
Yeah.
So if I had it and you needed it, we were good. Like, you got it if I got it. Like, we about to have a good time, whatever. Yep. So now it's just like, but all of that makes me where that contributes to where I am right now.
Absolutely. You'll never forget that moment.
Never.
So, okay. So here on the Legacy Blueprint podcast, we ask every guest this one question. Okay. And I'm so curious to find out what you would do. So if today, as soon as you leave the studio, you find out that you won the $1 billion Powerball, what are we doing with the money? Talk to me, Mo. Take your time.
I think about this a lot. What am I doing with the money? Not what I would do first. Okay.
Right.
What am I doing with the money? So I'm getting with a financial advisor, first and foremost, that's handled that amount of money before.
Yeah.
I'm paying off all debts. And I'm definitely giving back to something that's important to me. And I think it would be definitely creating some type of center back at home.
Okay.
Where we can give kids a place to go and just a lot, like all in one. So I still love the entertainment industry, right? So just having where people can learn production, editing, recording, the artists, the whole entertainment side, but also learning trades because of what I do now. Like I see how these plumbers make money, HVAC, all the trades. Like people go to college, but if college isn't for you, figure out what you want to do because you can go to trade school and you can come out here and run a crazy business, and I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
And just being able to just teach our people about assets. I think when we look at other communities, children have properties in their name at an early age.
Yes.
They understand that money is in their account because somebody paid their rent this month, things like that.
Yeah.
And then when they get older, now you have these communities. Like I have private investors, and I'll say it is like Jewish private money investors.
Yeah.
And the Jewish community, I give them props because they stick together.
They do.
And one of the things that I think that we need to do is we got to start pouring into our youth And the only way we can change it is if we start instilling things in the kids
Yeah.
as early as possible.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that I definitely do is figure out how to collaborate with some like-minded individuals, and we put something together that can really help really start impacting our communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I'm going to turn up. No, I'm just playing.
Listen, period. We out here.
One
where
time we
going?
outside. We going to turn up.
We
You going to see
all
us
the way
outside. I ain't going to lie. We out there.
On Mo. Okay.
Yeah, everybody.
No, this was so good, Mo. Like, seriously, you're so knowledgeable just about the full real estate experience, knowing your journey, knowing that you started here, and like this is where you actually are, watching your obedience throughout the whole process, loving that God is just using all of your natural qualities because you're such a people person, and it's actually feeding into all of the things that He wants you to do. But not just that, you also reach back and pull forward others around you.
Absolutely.
So how can everybody follow you? How can they follow your journey, learn more about you?
Follow me on Instagram. It's Mo Hustle, MOHUSTLE _810.
Yes.
Follow me on there. That's where you can get me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mo, this was so good.
Oh, and also I got one more shameless plug real quick. So
Please.
a lot of people ask, do you offer coaching or mentoring? I do not.
Okay.
And the reason I don't is because I'm very busy, but at the same time, people are trying to find their way. And sometimes you start figuring out that this isn't for me. And if, we've invested time in people before and they just fall off, just ghost. So we have a Discord. I have my company, but I'm also a partner of Everybody Eats Real Estate. That's myself and my partner, John, the grind guy. And that's Everybody Eats, EERRBODYEATS Real Estate on Instagram. But we have a Discord. So even if just in my profile on Instagram, you can click the link.
Yeah.
But you join our Discord. It's a members only type of group. We go live every Thursday. And that's when we literally start at 7 p.m. and we go until it's over. There's no time limit, but any questions that you have about real estate, if you have deals, we've actually put some people together to partner on deals, flips, things like that. But that's the time that we dedicate to give to people.
Yeah.
So that's where you can reach out if you do want to get more.
I love that. I love that. So y'all need to head to that IG, subscribe to that Discord, because you will not be disappointed. Not only will you get education and information, messing with Mo, you're definitely going to get inspiration. So thank you all for joining us here on the Legacy Blueprint Podcast. It's your girl, Kayla Wanakee, and we'll see you on our next episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe. See y'all soon.